Assalamualaikum. It's me here again, Teacher Hanin. In this video, we are going to learn about this, a clock. Or specifically, it's about telling the time. Bagaimana untuk menyatakan masa. Okay, so on the clock, we have 12 numbers. Kita ada 12 nombor di atas jam. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on until number 12. And on this clock, we also have the minutes. Okay, number 1 refers to 5 minutes. Number 2 refers to 10 minutes. Number 3 refers to 15 minutes. And so on until 60 minutes or the complete cycle of 1 hour. Okay. Next, if you see here on the clock, we have 3 needles. Kita ada 3 jarum di atas jam. Okay. The first one is this. Okay. This is what we call as the second hand. Okay. Yang ini kita panggil sebagai jarum saat. The second one is this. Okay, the long hand. It is known as the minute hand. Okay, yang panjang ini kita panggil sebagai minute hand ataupun jarum minit. And the third one is this. Okay, yang pendek ni, the short hand is known as the hour hand. Okay, the short hand is known as the hour hand. Jarum jam. Okay, so to tell the time, untuk menyatakan masa, you have to look at the hour hand and the minute hand. Okay, teacher ulang lagi sekali. To tell the time, you have to look at the hour hand and the minute hand. Untuk menyatakan masa, awak perlu tengok kepada jarum jam yang pendek ni dan jarum minit yang panjang ini. Okay. For example. Okay. Now, okay, the short hand is pointing to number 3 and the long hand is pointing to number 12. So, it is 3 o'clock. Okay, it is 3 o'clock. Sekarang pukul 3. Okay, so you have to remember, if the long hand is pointing to number 12 and the short hand is pointing to number 3, then it is known as 3 o'clock. Okay, now I want to move the needle. Teacher nak gerakkan jarum ni. Okay, sekejap ya. Alright, stop. Okay. Now, if you see here, the short hand is pointing to number 4 and the long hand is pointing to number 12. So, it is 4 o'clock. It is 4 o'clock. Pukul 4. Okay, I give you one more example. Teacher bagi satu lagi contoh. Teacher gerakkan dulu ya. Okay. Alright. Okay. What's the time? Pukul berapa ni? Yes. It is 7 o'clock. It is 7 o'clock. Okay, if you see here, the short hand is pointing to number 7 and the long hand is pointing to number 12. So, It is 7 o'clock. It is 7 o'clock. Alright, I hope you are clear with this. Okay everyone, so now we are in the second part in this video, which is to tell the time specifically. Okay, if you remember just now, I told you that to tell the time you have to look at the minute hand and the hour hand. Okay, so now I have a few pictures to show you. Okay, so if the minute hand is pointing to number 3, okay, I repeat, if the minute hand is pointing to number 3, then you have to use a quarter past. Okay, I repeat again, if the minute hand is pointing to number 3, you have to use a quarter past. Okey, jika jarum minit menunjukkan pukul 3, awak perlu menggunakan a quarter past. Okey, I will give the examples after this. Okey, contoh-contohnya teacher akan beri selepas ini. Okey, the second picture. Okey, the second picture, if the minute hand is pointing to number 6. Okay, if the minute hand is pointing to number 6, you have to use half past. Okay, I repeat again, teacher ulang balik. If the minute hand is pointing to number 6, then you have to use half past. Okay, jika jarum minit menunjukkan pukul 6, awak perlu menggunakan half past. Okay, the example I will give after this. Okay, contoh yang untuk contohnya teacher akan bagi selepas ini. Alright, now we look at the third picture. Okay, the third picture is like this. If the minute hand is pointing to number 9, okay, if the minute hand is pointing to number 9, you have to use a quarter to. Okay, I repeat again. If the minute hand is pointing to number 9, you have to use a quarter to. Jika jarum minit menunjukkan menunjukkan nombor 9, awak perlu menggunakan a quarter to. Okay, I repeat again. If the minute hand shows to number 9, you have to use a quarter to. Alright kids, so now let's have a look at a few examples. Okay, so picture number 1. What's the time? Pukul berapa ni? Yes, it is a quarter past 1. A quarter past 1. Okay, remember again what I taught you just now? If the minute hand is pointing to number 3, then you have to use a quarter past. Okay, so for this picture, it is a quarter past 1. Pukul 1 suku. Alright, picture number 2. Okay, what's the time? Pukul berapa ni? Yes, it is a quarter past 5. A quarter past 5. Pukul 5 suku. Next. What's the time? Pukul berapakah ini? Okay, the answer is a quarter past 7. A quarter past 7. Pukul 7 suku. Okay. The fourth picture, gambar yang keempat. Okay. For this picture, the minute hand is pointing to number 6. So you have to use half past. Okay, remember, if the minute hand is pointing to number 6, then you have to use half past. So what's the time? Pukul berapa ni? Yes, very good. It's half past 2. Okay, it's half past 2. Pukul 2:30. Okay. Next picture is, what's the time? Pukul berapa ni? Okay, very good. It's half past 4. Okay, it's half past 4. Pukul 4:30. Okay. Next picture. What's the time? Pukul berapakah ini? Yes, it is half past 10. It is half past 10. Pukul 10:30. Okay. Next picture. Okay. The minute hand is pointing to number 9. The minute hand is pointing to number 9. So, you have to use a quarter to. Okay, tolong ingat ya. Kalau jarum minit menunjukkan menunjukkan nombor 9, awak perlu menggunakan a quarter to. Okay, so for this picture, the answer is a quarter to 3. Okay, the answer is a quarter to 3. Pukul 2:45. Ataupun suku jam lagi nak sampai pukul 3. Okay. Next picture. Okay. What's the time? Pukul berapakah ini? Yes, it is a quarter to 7. A quarter to 7. Pukul 6:45 ataupun suku jam lagi nak sampai pukul 7. Okay, so we call it as a quarter to 7. Okay. Last picture is, tada. Okay. So what's the time? Pukul berapa ni? Yes, it is a quarter to 12. Okay, it is a quarter to 12. Pukul 11:45 ataupun suku jam lagi nak sampai pukul 12. Okay, so remember, if the minute hand is pointing to number 9, then you have to use a quarter to. Okay, so for this picture, it is a quarter to 12. Pukul 11:45 ataupun suku jam lagi nak sampai pukul 12. Alright. Okay everyone, so now let's have a summary together. Okay, kita akan ringkaskan dahulu sebelum teacher habiskan video ini. Okay, so just now I have taught you that If the minute hand is pointing to number 12, then you have to use o'clock. Okay, so for this time, it is 8 o'clock. Pukul 8. Alright, so now let's have a look at this whiteboard behind me. Okay, if you see here the green clock, okay, jam-jam yang berwarna hijau ni, okay, the minute hand is pointing to number 3. Number 3, number 3, and number 3. So you have to use a quarter past. Okay, remember, I repeat again. If the minute hand is pointing to number 3, okay, then you have to use a quarter past. Alright, so now we look at the pink clocks. Okay, kita tengok jam-jam yang berwarna pink ini. Okay, the minute hand is pointing to number 6. Okay, number 6 and number 6. So you have to use half past. Okay, remember, if the minute hand is pointing to number 6, then you have to use half past. Okay, and lastly, the orange clock. Okay, if the minute hand is pointing to number 9, okay, you see here number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9, then you have to use a quarter to. Okay, remember, if the minute hand is pointing to number 9, then you have to use a quarter to. Okay, so that's all, kids, for this video. I hope you are clear about how to tell the time. That's all. Bye.